But Osate like to know, is there going to be a special judicial system or court for this?
Well, you don't need a special judicial system or court. The reason most cases fail in our courts is because they are not well investigated. That's pure and simple. They're not well investigated. So what I'm saying is, and I could certainly give a lot of details here, but what I'm saying is we need to have this in focus, because we need to have solutions. Like you said, Valentine's Day, presidential election is here, and that's in 2 short weeks from today. And so, I mean, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep on like this? Are they going to keep throwing stones at the symbol of Nigerian sovereignty, the president, around the country? I mean, that's not good enough. That's totally unacceptable, because I believe you are all Nigerians and you are all qualified to be president. So if you, Chamberlain, become president, I wouldn't want anybody throwing stones at you. Don't worry, I'll be your chief security officer.
Oh, well, looking at some factors, you know, that makes a country prone to violence. If you're able to identify some of the factors, perhaps, you know, one can eliminate them and ensure that, or control them. What are some of the factors that you see make us around the 60% range, you say, that were prone to violence in this 2015 elections?
Well, there are several factors. Number one, the prime factor is impunity. You do the crime, you don't do the punishment. Nobody asks you. It's like you're talking about the people who made some inflammatory statements the other day, and is anything being done about it? You know, so if nothing is done about it, others feel they are free to, because their own defense in today's journals is that well, others made statements before and nothing happened to them. So what does that mean? That means that there's no statute of limitation on these kinds of you know, reckless statements. As long as they are there, a newspaper is an open source for intelligence, for information. As long as it's there, and in fact, some of these things are even done on camera also, and then it's good enough evidence, you know. And so impunity, madam, is the number one problem. Number two, we have what people call will. There's a lack of political will. That's the executive. Is the executive really committed? Now, but when people say executive, we always go back to the president. The president is not the only executive in this country. There are so many executives in this country. And in this case, the executive in question is the police executive, the chief executive of the police agency. Is he committed to halting violence? Because it's his purview. It's not even intelligence. It's not military. It's not for any other agency. It's not for civil defense. It's not for immigration. It is the police agency, because they are the prime crime control agency for the federal government. And so why is it that they are, just 1 second to lie, why is it that they are not willing to take responsibility? So that's where you have analysts like me, like he so graciously described me. That's why you have us. We are thinkers. We come, we say, listen, we see your problem. We understand, because they are busy people. They don't have the time to figure out all this. So we bring up a structure and a process activity that should occur within that structure. So the other thing is, are Nigerians willing, are people who are sized with knowledge willing to come up and give solutions for such problems? Sorry, sir.
No, they must have time to think along that line. I think it falls within also their task and responsibility. They should have a department to think the way you are thinking. If you remember, I think
strategic management.
Beautiful. Yeah. In the past, just recently, we recall that the DSS had invited a couple of people, even Asari Dokubo, for questioning.
Yes.
One wonders, now we're talking about the police that has the primary responsibility. It should go beyond talking about the, yesterday we played the report of the new AIG Zone 2, and all the talk was about my police, my men, my men. It should go beyond your men. You're to protect the people. What template do you have for protection of persons and property? What template do you have
in these tense times?
In these times,
yes.
One would have thought, the way you're thinking, that the police should be inviting any troublemaker.
Any troublemaker, and it's within their powers.
But why is it that we haven't been seeing all of that? Instead, we're being warned about not to mess with the police.
It's within their powers. No, but you know, Chamberlain, we have to keep the focus. We have to keep saying these are ways to solve this same problem.
We
These
have to
are
remind
ways,
the police.
We have to remind them.
In case they are derailing, that's what the essence of this program.
Exactly.
We have too many troubles, brewing leading up to 2015.
And you have to solve them one by one. You can't solve all at the same time because you become overwhelmed.
If it's possible to solve them at the same time, not to get into any kind of big trouble, then they should do.
Yeah,
is it too much?
You know the
police?
famous saying that if you hold a bundle of twigs and you try to break them all at once, you can't break them. But if you take them one by one, you break them. That's what I mean. If you choose your fights, election violence is the biggest problem we have right now. Not even PVC. That's a problem for INEC. Let them go and sort out their PVC business. Incidentally,
but it could cause violence.
No, it shouldn't. If you can get 50% PVC distribution, that's good. Even 40% is good. Well, look, the will that is expressed in an election doesn't have to be 100% will. It's just a representative will. So, what do we say those people go to do? They go to represent us, Abi.
No.
So,
let's not go
so if we are not able to, no, hold on, I don't want to get back.
Let's not go that because just one can
Yes.
make the difference. We've seen elections all over the world. Just one does make the difference.
Should we not vote that because everybody never gets?
You saw Zambia's election. What was the percentage?
That was very close.
Very close.
That was razor thin.
But about this police and their actions, maybe we should shed some light because some may not understand the thinking.
Yes.
Why don't we have, or do we have forensics departments?
Well, thank you. Now you are now talking about operational issues. You see, we do have, we are supposed to have forensics at Alagmon Close.
I hope it's not that one.
The one that has the lizards and things, the monkeys have taken over. Okay, but that's another story. We're supposed to have forensics, but now you are talking about technical issues now, operational issues. These are the things that we make. First of all, let's deal with it. I'm happy. Okay, thanks for bringing us back. We have dealt with strategic issues. What meaning the headship, the executive management of the SAVI, SAEVI, that's SAVI. Okay, because we need a CP, a tough guy, who can think, who is quick on the draw, who can lead this. Now, location of the unit, SCID, everywhere, they are already there in place. All you need is 3-man units. You are not saying hire any new person. I'm not saying anything. Just move your resources around. 3-man units. Take one guy from burglary, take one guy from vice, take one guy from maybe human trafficking. You have 3 people there. And then because the key here is the focus. That's the whole spotlight mentality. When you put a spotlight on something, it brings it up. It brings it into focus. Now, having said that, we'll now go to technical issues. Case management, case loads. You now start looking at specific investigative operational issues. Quality control. Then you look at who are the investigators themselves, who are the people you are bringing. Now, this is the third level, the case level itself. Who is the investigator? What kind of cases are they good at? Their pedigree, in other words, and such that within that whole thing, you've looked at the strategic level, the executive management, you looked at the operational level, including what you called forensics. And then, aside from forensics, we need intelligence. What kind of open source material is out there? What cameras are out there? Everywhere, Okiro did something when he was IGP. He said every bank should have a CCTV system, including cameras placed outside to see. When there's a crime in the vicinity of a bank, guess what happens? You have a lead. You can at least see who the perpetrator was, and you can follow up. So you must address it as a concrete issue, including resourcing, this kind of, and outsourcing. Now, this brings me to what you said about forensics. If you don't have forensic psychology, you don't have all forensics, odontology, and all other things. Why don't you outsource? The universities are there. Even here,
there's a lot to say.
At Luth here, there's a lot of forensic capability. But the investigator must be smart enough to know what to ask from. Because that guy is just an expert. He's a medical expert. He's not an investigator, but you have to get the data from him. That's how forensic works. Forensic doesn't mean that you must have your own, you must go and get everything there, get an expert in ballistics, in striations, get an expert in, what do you call it, DNA and all. It means knowing where to go. We have DNA facilities here in this country.
That means, clearly it goes beyond asking one for tinted permit and driver's license. I mean, these are real issues.
These are real policing issues. These are real investigative issues.
Thank you, Dr. Ekhomu. We're back after this break. Join us again.